What you've done is you've made incremental advantage trades. Getting Brandon McCarthy, he's better than Nuno. Getting Headley, he's better than anybody that you had playing third base. Is there that big bang trade that you're working on?
We're having high-end stuff, and we've had high-end stuff already that's already been passed. We're having discussions with, that big trade that went from the Cubs to the A's, this Marja and Hamill one, but we'll continue to do that. So we're talking at every level. The bottom line is we're constantly trying to improve. We need to improve, as everybody knows, and we're in this thing. But to be able to be considered a team that can honestly compete for a playoff spot, we need to do more, or I need to do more. So,
all right, now Brian, if the baseball gods came to your office today and said, "Okay, you can only make one trade, either a pitcher, a starting pitcher, or a hitter," which would you choose?
Well, it's a little harder to peel the onion on that. I need to know, you have to throw names at me, which I obviously can't talk to speak to tampering-wise, but, It depends on the impact. Who are we talking about would help me answer that easier. But
if a big-time hitter was available or a big-time pitcher?
I would probably say maybe the big-time bat, I guess. But you're asking me after watching the 14 innings last night. I'm still hungover from watching us really struggle scoring runs. It's weird. Our pitching has been drastically altered because of the injuries. Yep. And despite the losing 4 out of 5 starters and all that stuff, our pitching has survived. Surprisingly to this level, to this point. I think our offense should be better. So it's kind of a strange dynamic where we feel we have personnel in some cases that should be better than what we've seen. And there's areas that certainly I can upgrade or on if I can. Where the pitching, when you kind of assess it, you're just kind of surprised that, hey, some of these guys have really stepped up and done a great job to help plug the holes. I mean, in many of the Whitley starts, we've won those games, and he's done a great job. Phelps has stepped up and done a great job, even Nuno was, competitive to some degree in some of his starts for us, and now McCarthy's, in his slot. And so we have somehow been able to provide chances to win, and the offense is what's letting us down. But, it still feels like the pitching needs more help. But honestly, the offense has been consistently poor throughout the entire year, so I guess the answer has to be an offensive piece, I guess.
All right, Brian, let me ask you about a couple of minor leaguers. Yesterday I was looking at the stats, and Manny Banuelos pitched very, very well, 5 innings, but he only threw 55 pitches. You guys have been very, very careful with him. Is there any chance that he could help the big league team this year?
No. His innings this year, we're not holding him back. He just hasn't, pitched as effectively as we expected. So, some of his starts have, ended, abruptly because he just, had struggles, as he tried to get out of the first or second inning. So, no, he has not had a good year the first year back from Tommy John. Last night was a terrific start and his best start of the year, of the career, of the season for him, post Tommy John. So that was encouraging and one we've been waiting to see and hoping to see. Hopefully, as we approach as 2015 comes around, then, we'll see something more like the ceiling we were expecting to see from him. But right now, he's either still knocking out the rust or still adjusting or trying to get consistent and kind of declare himself as what is he going to be after that surgery.
Brian, you've been doing this forever. You know how fans get excited about homegrown guys. And the one thing I keep getting asked about on Twitter, Ref Snyder, why don't the Yankees call him up? So let me ask you, how come you don't call him up?
Well, I mean, I'm not. I don't think that we would be significantly upgrading at second base right now. For instance, he is learning a new position at second, and so if I think that maybe he had transferred from the outfield to second base, so he's still working on that. He has a chance to be the second baseman of the future maybe as early as next year. We have started to sprinkle him out a little bit back into the outfield and right field because in the event that we ever do pull that ripcord, I would see him more impacting the outfield for us this year because I don't think there'd be a significant difference on the offensive side with him as a rookie jumping into a pennant race than what we're already getting at second. So if you did see him, he'd be probably more likely an outfielder for us unless we had an injury. And he's not even Rule 5 eligible. He's moved really quick. If he forces his way up to the roster on the 25 this year, so be it. But I think if we can avoid it, I don't think we get the impact over the next 2 months that that people would think. That jump from AAA to the big leagues is larger than it's ever been. I'm talking to or leaning on people like Gene Michael and who've been around the game for years and years and years that go through this stuff, and that what people are doing, both pitching or offensively, down in the lower levels, not just with the Yankees but anywhere. It's a super big jump to the big league level. The talent disparity is that big of a jump. So I think we're excited about Ruff Snyder. We think he has a chance to be a future everyday regular for the Yankees. Obviously the trick is whether that's now, and as of right now, I'm not prepared to tell you you'll see that in 2014. I'm not prepared to tell you you won't, but right now, clearly he's still there for a reason.
All right, Brian Cashman, the Yankee GM, is our guest here on the Michael Kay Show. A couple of quick hits. Do you expect Teixeira to be back this weekend, or is he a DL possibility?
I can't rule out a DL possibility. Certainly when this occurrence hit on the lat strain, our first reaction and the doctor's assessment was it'd be 4 or 5 days, at the very least. So over the course of the next few days, if he's not responding all that well to the PRP injection and he doesn't really feel amazingly well and spry, then I think we'll be looking more at a DL situation. So we got to give it probably another 24 to 48 hours till we get a better feel for that, whether the fifth day, or for instance, is a realistic situation. But if we start playing short going into day 7, 8, 9, that type of stuff, and he's not, I don't think we're interested in doing something like that.
All right, what's the chances of Michael Pineda? I mean, where is he right now?
Mike is on the verge of getting his first rehab game. He's gone through for the most part, in his entire throwing program, from bullpens to batting practice sessions, and he's gearing up for his first rehab outing. And if everything goes right as we stretch him out, because he's being a starter, you'd be seeing him sometime in August. So we do believe that we'll get him back. Certainly, that has to be without incident between now and then. But that's the time frame.
And obviously, everybody wants to know about Tanaka. Still isn't throwing. What's the timetable with him before you guys really know?
It's again one of those. I kind of check in every few days. I just was talking to our trainer about it, and he's improved, but he still feels it. Although on a daily basis, it's decreases. So that's good, but it's not good that he's still feeling it at this stage. So we just day by day, and week by week, and we'll adjust accordingly. So right now, it's too early to call.